All right. Ready to find your voice and really make it heard. That's what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
With, well, you know who doesn't love to be a little bit more persuasive?
It's a skill you could use everywhere in life, right? Like absolutely everywhere.
Seriously. And our trusty guide for this deep dive?
Let's hear it.
It's Brian Tracy's Speak to Win.
Okay, nice.
Which, we figured everyone wants to be more persuasive.
For sure.
But before we get to, crafting the perfect speech or anything,
Yeah.
Tracy dives right into something I think we've all felt. That feeling when you're about to speak and, your heart's in your throat.
Tell me about it.
Stage fright.
Oh, yeah, the worst.
And it's way more common than you'd think.
Really?
He actually says 54% of adults are more scared of public speaking than, wait for it, death.
No way. Seriously?
That's wild, right? Are you surprised by that?
It sounds crazy, but honestly.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense. Public speaking is terrifying for so many people.
Right.
It's totally normal. It's just like this deeply ingrained fear a lot of us have.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Stage fright. Performance anxiety. Totally normal, even for the pros.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Even, think of David Niven, the actor. He played Phileas Fogg. Super successful career in Hollywood, right?
Yeah, classy guy.
This guy admitted to throwing up before every single performance.
Get out. No way.
Even with all that experience.
Wow, so I guess even Phileas Fogg gets nervous, huh?
Totally. But it makes you think, if even he felt it, how do we get those butterflies, flying in formation?
Right. How do we deal with it?
So Tracy talks about this technique.
Okay.
It's called systematic desensitization.
Systematic desensitization. What now?
That sounds kind of intense, right? But it's a simple idea.
Yeah.
The more you do the thing you're scared of, the less scary it gets.
Oh.
Imagine joining Toastmasters. What freaks you out about that?
Oh, man, probably messing up my words in front of everyone.
Totally. But think about what makes you go back for that second meeting.
I guess maybe, feeling like I did something. Or just being around people.
Exactly. So you practice speaking in a safe space.
Okay.
And those good vibes start to beat out the fear. Like building a muscle, use it, it gets stronger.
That's encouraging. But sometimes it's not even about practice, sometimes I get nervous no matter what.
Oh, totally. So it's about the mental game, too.
What, tricking yourself?
Kind of. Tracy talks about visualizing, not just your words, but seeing yourself nailing the speech.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So you imagine the audience. They're engaged, nodding along, getting it.
And that's supposed to.
It's like you're tricking your brain into thinking, I've got this, because you've already lived it.
Whoa, that's kind of cool.
Right. But there's also visualizing how it feels to succeed.
Okay, yeah, feeling good.
That confidence, the connection with the audience.
Just owning it.
Exactly. Just sit and embody those emotions.
It's like that end of the movie thing he mentions.
Yes. Where you picture that final moment, the applause, the feeling of nailing it.
It's powerful stuff. Rewind to the best part. Let the energy carry you.
I like that.
But there's one more thing. Verbalization. Actually saying positive things out loud.
Wait, talking to myself?
Basically, I'm a confident speaker or my ideas matter. It reinforces those beliefs.
So it's like a pep talk, but with a purpose.
Exactly. It's about shaping your mindset. Athletes do it all the time with visualization and self-talk.
Huh. Never thought of it like that.
It's about using your mind to influence your actions. Powerful stuff.
Okay, so we've faced the fear. We've pictured ourselves rocking that speech. But what about the message itself?
Right, what are we actually saying?
Exactly. And Tracy is all about knowing your audience. He even calls it market research for your speech, which I thought was interesting.
Makes sense, though. You're not going to talk to a bunch of teenagers the same way you talk to, a board meeting. For real. He's talking about their age, their job, their education, even their beliefs and stuff. It's wild. Have you ever thought about that stuff before giving a presentation?
It's something I'm definitely more aware of now. Tracy actually tells this funny story about accountants. They were like, we're not salespeople. But he's like, hold on.
I mean, we're always selling something, right? Even if it's just an idea.
Totally. Trying to get your friend to watch that new show you like. That's persuasion.
It totally is. And Tracy tells this other story. It's about when he spoke to this group of salespeople, but they were all bummed out because their commissions got cut.
Oof, rough crowd.
Right. So he realizes if he goes in there with some generic rah-rah speech...
Yeah, it totally wouldn't work.
It would bomb. He had to meet them where they were at, Acknowledge the whole commission situation.
It's like you got to read the room.
Yes,
Okay.
context is everything. And speaking of context, Tracy has this idea, the objective question. Sounds kind of formal.
Does it? What is it?
But it's basically figuring out what you want your audience to do after they hear you. Like, what's the action you want them to take?
Ooh, I like that. It's like having a goal in mind.
Exactly. Are you trying to get them pumped up? Change their mind about something? Close the deal? It makes a difference.
So it's less about just talking AT them and more about, like, guiding them somewhere.
Totally. Okay, so we've conquered our fear. We know our audience. We know what we want to achieve. Now, how do we actually put the presentation together?
Yeah, because most of us aren't exactly giving speeches to thousands every day.
Right. It's those smaller moments that matter.
Totally. And Tracy's advice is awesome for that. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-minute pitch or a big presentation. It works.
He's big on structure. Start
Yeah.
strong, lay out your points clearly, and finish strong.
Of that.
One of my favorites is his PRP formula. Have you heard of this?
PRP.
Yeah, it's how to organize each point. Point, reasons, example, point. Easy to remember.
Wait, so you're like repeating yourself.
Kinda. You say your main point, give reasons why it's true, give an example, then say the point again. It really makes it stick.
Huh. Never thought of that. It's like you're giving their brain a little roadmap.
Right. And when it comes to that strong start, Tracy has some killer opening lines, like, imagine quoting Alexander the Great.
Whoa. Bold move.
Right. Instantly makes you think of leadership and all that.
People will be hooked.
He even uses once upon a time. Says it works even to get people's attention back after a break.
Seriously. It's like we're wired to hear stories.
Totally. We love narratives, characters, all that. It taps into something deeper.
It's that right brain stuff, the emotional side.
And Tracy gets that. It's not all logic and bullet points. He even talks about avoiding death by PowerPoint, which, come on, we've all been there.
Oh, tell me about it. Slides with like 1,000,000 bullet points.
The worst. It's a recipe for boredom. Tracy's all about using visuals strategically.
Okay, so like pictures instead of words.
Exactly. Powerful images, minimal text. And most importantly, actually connecting with the audience, you know? Eye contact. Let your personality shine.
Because at the end of the day, it's about them, not the slides.
All right, so we've talked about stages, presentations, but what about those smaller rooms, you know? Like business meetings, those can be intense.
Oh, yeah, totally. High stakes, for sure.
Career making or breaking kind of stuff.
Big
Right.
pressure, right.
Exactly. So anything in this section of the book like really stand out to you?
Honestly. I was surprised how much he talks about the actual space, like where you sit. He even says he used to, get this, control where people sat at his meetings.
Are you kidding? That's like expert level stuff.
Right. Makes you think twice about where you choose to sit, huh?
Suddenly I'm very aware of my go-to spot. But why though? What's the strategy?
Tracy's big on maximizing eye contact with, like, the decision makers in the room. It's all about those subtle cues, you know?
So it's like you're kind of leading the conversation without even saying anything?
Exactly. It's wild. But then once the meeting's going, he has this whole thing about his 6 A's. It's about making people feel valued.
Oh, yeah. I remember this. Acknowledge, appreciate.
Admire, approve, attend, and agree.
So much easier said than done, though, right?
Totally. But they're good to keep in mind. And what I love is it's not just for, like, big presentations. It's everyday stuff. How you treat your coworkers, even just chatting with a friend, it applies everywhere.
It's about building those good vibes, that connection with people. I like that. But Tracy's also not afraid to, you know, stir the pot a little.
Oh, tell me about it. He tells this story about Alfred Sloan, the CEO of General Motors.
Okay, what'd he do?
So Sloan asks his team a question, right? And if everyone agreed too quickly, he'd be like, nope, got to postpone this meeting till we have some disagreement.
He did not.
He's all about healthy debate. He's like, we can't understand the problem if we're all just nodding along.
That's a leader who actually wants to hear different opinions. It's so easy to just go with the flow, you know?
The best ideas come from challenging each other, right? And that kind of leads into his approach to negotiation, too.
Which,
It's not about winning. It's about finding a solution that works for everyone. Like, most of the time, you're going to have to work with those people again, so you don't want to burn bridges.
makes sense. So how do you do that? Negotiate without, like, turning it into a battle.
So he has this thing, the Law 4. Basically, in any negotiation, there are 4 main issues.
Okay.
And get this, most of the fighting, the disagreement, it's usually only about one of those issues.
Really? That's wild. So it's about figuring out that one sticking point.
Exactly. He gives this example of a contract negotiation. Instead of starting with the tough stuff, you'd go through and find every single thing they agreed on first.
Interesting tactic, kind of disarming the situation.
Right. You build up that goodwill, so when you get to the tough part, everyone's more open to working together.
That's clever. So it seems like from stage fright to boardrooms to even just having a tough conversation, speak to win is all about more than just the words, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
It's about reading the room, knowing your stuff, and connecting with people on a deeper level.
And maybe controlling where they sit, you know, just a thought.
Hey, whatever works.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another deep dive complete. Hopefully you're feeling ready to unleash your inner orator, conquer those presentations, and maybe even win a few negotiations along the way.
And don't forget, pick up Speak to Win for the full experience.
Until next time, keep those conversations flowing, keep those ideas sharp, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.